my bed early one midsummer morning in my freezer of a room. The air conditioner had been on all evening, and I was covered with my thick black quilt. The sleep was peaceful. There was no noise. Just the evening before, I had a dream. I had dreamt that I was out of town for an entire month, and someone there offered me a job if I would be willing to move there right then and there. They would have even found me a place to stay and paid for the first 6 months' rent if I had stayed. It sounded too good to be true, but since I was just dreaming in my sleep, it was just that, only a dream. That dream would be interrupted by the sound of an alarm clock radio going off at approximately 5 o'clock that morning, before dawn would even break that day. It was still fairly dark outside. I awoke, wiped the sleep out of my eyes, and, although only half awake, I would lie in bed with my eyes somewhat open and contemplate what I would do after work that day. After I was done spending 8 hours roasting, not in an oven, but in a factory with only large fans for ventilation. Yes, another day roasting and putting up with all manner of nonsense imaginable was to follow. Reluctantly, I removed my quilt, freezing temporarily in the process, and got out of bed, eventually leaving my bedroom and proceeding toward the bathroom. As usual, I went to the toilet and took my shower, and then I dried off, as was my custom. I had breakfast, and then basically I finished getting ready for work. Oven roasting work. My poor excuse for a job, but a job nonetheless. The only thing preventing me from sitting at home broke all the time. The only thing I would have until something better would come along. Yeah, that. After my usual 5-minute bus ride and race through the supermarket to buy my lunch for the day, I arrived at work for what was to be another day of roasting, carcinogens, and managerial ineptitude, the latter of which would, inexplicably, as was often the case, take a turn for the worse. To begin with, our plant supervisor, our production supervisor, would resign after the day I was done. I would not, I repeat, not be looking forward to the days, weeks, and months to come. At least not in the workplace. To be sure, I always try to look on the positive side of things in general, but where I work, optimism is absolutely no match for nonsense whatsoever. Yes, sad but true. No matter what I do, or regardless of anything really stupid stuff always finds a way of happening. This becomes, and has been lately, most apparent with our conveyor line. It never ceases to fail. Every day something goes mechanically wrong with it. Is it any wonder why we all end up having to sacrifice a Saturday just to make production? If the managers at this place would just get off their high horse and spend a little bit of money to get this thing permanently repaired, there'd be fewer problems with it. But oh no. Everything is a money issue with them. That might explain why I've never made more than $10 an hour working at this place. But this is what I'd like to know. Why can they afford to get newer vehicles each year, but they can't afford to give me a raise? No one knows, and quite frankly, no one will ever know. What I do know is that one fine day, a day when people I know in general least expect it, I'll be gone, out of here, and hightailing it as if there were no tomorrow. I very, very often dream of that very day. In fact, it is the driving force that makes me, albeit reluctantly, endure at my increasingly dead-end job each one more day.